Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Anthony Ferdon. Oh, I got it? Oh, I
You
got it.
got it.
I got it the
You got it the first shot.
first time. I'm
It's
telling
not an
you,
easy one.
Ferdon, I did it. I did it. Wish I could freak my back. Oh, shit, I did it. Next time I just should shut up and just make like I do that all the time, but I don't, Can't fucking do what people say, right? Anthony, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the what would you call this? Our expedition. Like this case is almost like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like the Harrison Ford going into. I mean, this guy's gonna do a dive in the middle of the night in the East River. How spooky is that shit? With no light. He's gonna have a light on his thing, but you know, finding a relic from a half a century ago. This story has, as I said it many times, has all the earmarks of a theatrical feature film. And I am in talks with a large studio. In fact, I'm in talks with the owner of the studio. And this story is unbelievable. This story is just unbelievable. But you can't, so many times, so many of my stories are so unbelievable that some people don't believe it. But the second half of this story is a story that you have to believe because it's on video. You can see them underwater. Mind blowing. And so, as you know, the other dive teams, Exploring with Nug and Adam Brown's Adventures, for whatever reason, they couldn't make it. I think it was something to do with financial things. YouTube isn't paying them enough, or I don't know. And Anthony here was gracious enough to take on this task, this adventure, pro bono at his own expense. Thank you, Anthony, and I really appreciate that. And so does Fran. Fran was supposed to be here, but something, I don't know, I couldn't get a hold of her. Couldn't be there. So this dive is going to be much different than the other dive. The other dive was to search for the car, okay? And all the professional divers, what's the other one? What's that one, the big one? Adventures with Purpose, and all these other divers didn't want to take it because they said to me, you're never going to find that car. It's not going to be there. And the truth of the matter is I knew exactly where the car was. I put it there, parked it there with the lights on. I did a bunch of videos in this for all you newcomers. Go back and you'll see all the video. I always knew it was there. I knew it was there. I felt it was there the 3 or 4 times I did videos prior to coming with the real divers. So the biggest part of this adventure, let's call it the adventure, was just locating the car and seeing if it was there. And we did that. The other dive teams, they did it. They did it. They found it, positively identified the car through its lower dashboard and steering wheel that was exclusive to that year make and model car. Boom. Right where I said it was, indisputable. Nobody's going to dispute that. Shortly thereafter, we figured, okay, so what happened was I had my friends in law enforcement check who went missing in 1970, what mobster went missing in 1974 and was never recovered. Well, guess what? In New York, there wasn't. And I don't want to get into the big spiel. One of my viewers checked New Jersey and found out that a man by the name of Nicholas Masucci, one of the highest earners of the Genovese crime family, went missing September 1974. Boom. And we did a little more digging on Roy DeMeo's Wikipedia page and found out that a mobster by the name of Salvatore Vitali was ordered to deliver a corpse to Roy DeMeo at a Queens garage in 1974. Boom. Well, I got that car from Roy DeMeo in 1974 at a Queens garage. All of these things we found out after we located the car. And then I had this guy, Thomas Steves, do more background and figured out that the only one that went missing in that time frame was Nicholas Masucci. And then we found his daughter, and she's been on my channel many times. But now she's really excited because now we found the car. And the other divers didn't have enough time. They slack time. There's a whole bunch of technical reasons. It's not an easy dive, as Anthony will tell you. It's a very dangerous dive due to the treacherous currents. And you also have whirlpools there too, right, Anthony?
Yep.
They have whirlpools. When I used to hang out in Astoria Park, you would see the whirlpools going. You get caught in there, you're done. You're going to drown to death. So anyway, we found the car 1 year ago. And 4 days from now, it'll be 1 year ago at the time of this taping, that we found the car, that we notified Fran. Fran did her own research. Fran, we all believe that what I smelled that fateful day in September of 1974 was indeed Nicholas Masucci. Every indication points to it. So now Anthony comes on board. What's the other guy's name?
Keith Hupmeyer.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, that's the diver that's yeah. So again, through YouTube, there was a guy by the name of Paul Thompson. One of my viewers called me, and he was very much interested in bringing closure to Fran, because he too believes that everyone believes that this is the man that I smelled so many years ago. As I was driving the car, I smelled the unmistakable odor of a decomposing body coming from the truck. Not knowing who Roy DeMeo was at the time, because at that time, Roy DeMeo wasn't shit. In 1973, 1974, when I knew him, he wasn't shit. He was just a wannabe gangster, but he really turned into the worst. Who knew? I didn't know. So, Paul got in touch with Anthony, because Paul was a diver, or I guess he still is, and he got on, through a diver's Facebook page? Is that how he contacted you?
So Paul and I are both members of Big Apple Divers. It's a dive group located all the way from New York down to New Jersey. I mean, it spans quite many miles down the East Coast.
Okay.
Thousands and thousands of divers. So we all stay in contact for different dives and information and things like that. So Paul put out a post about looking for a diver to be willing to dive in the East River. Not many divers would even would have no reason to dive in a body of water like that. It's dangerous, dirty, high current. There's things that can tangle you up down there, shred you up. But I dive in the Hudson River commercially. So I do a lot of recoveries in the Hudson River, underwater rigging, underwater surveys. So it's, just another part of my backyard. So Paul posted that, and I reached out to him because I thought it just seemed really interesting. I didn't realize it was going to be so interesting. So now I'm hooked.
So I understand. So again, my job was pretty hard the first time I was trying to get diving. Because, okay, I had a book, I had a little YouTube channel. I get on the phone and I would tell this story to people. Excuse me. And it was a hard story to swallow. This guy, Jeremy, from Exploring with Nugs, believed me. He checked me out. He did a whole bunch. He believed me. But I don't think anybody else really did. It was a hard thing to find. But in Anthony's case, we found the car. So everything I said turned out to be true. And you could actually, it was no longer a story. It was sitting down watching a 45-minute video of the divers underwater, locating the car, picking up the two pieces, the two parts, which positively identified that car as being a 1972 Lincoln Delta. Boom. So, Anthony, Now, I know we spoke earlier and you told me you watched that video 4 times. What did you think of the video? And what is going to be your plan of action when we finally do meet face to face this month?
So, in viewing the video, um, it just seemed like, to be completely honest and forefront, hurt feelings or not, they overcomplicated a cheese sandwich. All right, they got this boat involved. They're all over the map. They're just a little bit, just too complicated. Um, and ultimately they ended up entering from the shore anyway and going in the direction that you pointed them from the beginning. So a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy wasted there. So with that aside, we're going to just start where they began, on the shoreline, enter the water in the direction that they did, because we had the video, so we can judge from the position of the bridge, the position of the right down to the fence post behind them on the shoreline.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
also,
the bubbles. I was watching the diver that actually found the car, which was Adam Brown, because the other guy had communication. So my job on the boat was, for safety reasons, to just watch the bubbles. And so I know where I know where the car is. When we go there, there's not gonna be an issue finding the car.
yeah, if you remembered it after 50 years, I'm sure after 1 year you're going to pinpoint that thing.
Isn't it something? I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I remember it like it was yesterday when I launched that car into the river and I watched it go by me. And then I went, oh shit, the lights. And don't forget, even back then, there was thousands and thousands of lights on Midtown Manhattan on the east side, 50, all the apartment buildings, that thing went down, lit up the whole ocean, and just traveled. I mean, I remember every detail about that night. I remember every detail. I was scared. I was trembling because I knew what I was smelling, and I knew the glove box button to release the trunk was ripped out. The ignition switch was pulled. This was not an insurance fraud give up. They come with keys. I mean, I just knew it, but I didn't care because I was getting $500, which was which equals 4,000 of today's money. So I didn't care. And I didn't know that this guy was mafia. I didn't even know the guy I worked for was a boss in the Lucchese crime family, Joey Bikini. He never told me that. I never knew it. I never knew it. Looking back now. So, okay.
So back to viewing their dive, time wasted, energy wasted, all those things aside, we now have a video popcorn trail guiding us right to the car.
Oh, I didn't think about that because, yeah, he's on the ground because these divers, they just don't dive in the water and look down. It's 17 feet of water. They crawled on the friggin' riverbed. They crawled. And they even bumped into a crab. Did you see the crab? That shit would have freaked me out. I would have went, crab.
I'll bring it back to you. We'll have lunch.
Oh, shit. Yeah, do that. Oh, my God. So, anyway, all right. So you have a good idea. I never thought of that. Just look at the video. He did it 4 times, 45 minutes. It's 4 hours. And don't forget, this guy is volunteering his time for Fran and me, I guess. I mean,
well, it's a cause altogether. It's a cause altogether. It's a good cause, and it should be done. It needs to be done. So many people are hanging on this. You want to read the conclusion? It's like leaving the last chapter out in the book.
Well, I mean, especially for Fran. Okay, she gets a call, and she was very skeptical. This woman is an she might consider herself as still being a mob. We used to call them mob princesses back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. Women whose uncle, whose father were made in the guys, and that's what she is. And so she's very skeptical. And of course, she didn't like me one bit, and I can tell, Fran, because you knew I was you're an informant. Well, you know what I'd be thinking of informant.
One of them idiots, right?
Yeah. She had to deal with me. She had to deal with me. We've had our scraps during the year that I've known her. Fucking, but anyway, poor Fran. We tell her what's going on, and of course she wanted the dive team to come right back. Now these guys live in South Carolina and Atlanta, Georgia. So I mean that it's like 1,200-mile drive, and it's not like it's around the corner. So, but I really felt bad. She's very anxious. She wants to bring her father home. She's got a plot. I spoke to her the other day about what are you going to do if we find remains? And she said, of course, I'm going to put my father to rest. And I asked her, do you have a plot? Are you going to buy? She said, we have a family plot. Her father actually bought a family plot, and they have the plot, and she's going to have a mass done with any remains that they're able to recover. And then once we recovered the remains, then Fran's is in the DNA database. So we just put the DNA in there, and we're going to know if it's him or not. Because there's a lot of, I don't know, I think you told me there's a lot of marrow in bones that are rich with DNA. Isn't that true?
Well, bone marrow breaks down pretty quickly, but the bone structure, the core, any cartilage, those things are pretty hardy, and they'll hang on for a good amount of time. And the more material, the more remains that we can bring up, the higher chance that they'll be able to pull a complete strand of DNA out of
Wow.
for a positive match.
Wow.
And whenever you want, I can explain how we plan on doing that and achieving that.
You got the floor, my friend.
So we're going to do a couple things different than what they did. Once we locate the car, again, we're going to put up a marker buoy on the car. And you can take a picture of it from the shoreline. So now you have an exact pinpoint. You don't got to guess. You don't got to dive and search anymore. Because if we can't accomplish this in the first day, we will dive again, and we will dive again, and we will dive again until we have exhausted all our possible avenues of searching for his remains. We're not going to stop until we definitively know that we can't find anything, if it comes to that. So after locating the car and marking it with a surface buoy, we're also going to put a tagline from the vehicle's remains all the way back to the shoreline, so that it's easier for us just to pull a line and go right back to the car each time. Because once we get to the car, we're going to locate the rear end of the car. No matter if the body's disintegrated or not, or a lot of could have happened since last year, who knows? But that rear end of that car, that 1,000-pound rear end, is still going to be there with the part of the frame.
The frame is there. The
Yep.
rear end is there. It's still attached to the rim and the top. Even the hubcap was on it, I think, right? Was the hubcap?
Yep, that was on. There was a Thunderbolt tire white wall, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So we're going to locate the trunk area, and if it's completely disintegrated, then we're going to go after the silty bottom, sandy bottom, rocky bottom, wherever the trunk was located. We're just going to start scooping material into our dive bags, and we're going to bring it back to the surface, and we're going to screen it and see what we come up with.
Now, screening it, I spoke to him about that. They're going to dump the mud or the dirt or whatever it is into like a gold minder's thing and shake it.
Yep. It's very. If you ever been to the beach and you see the kids with their little floating screens and they shake it back and forth, they shake the sand out and they find the shark's teeth, and it's the same exact thing. It's simple, efficient, and it's our only option.
Well, let's talk about Kevin Ma's gut feeling. Kevin Ma's gut feeling is that we are going to find remains.
Yeah, because if I remember right, Nicholas had a glass eye.
Yeah, here's two things that we do know. Now, it's my understanding when this guy Roy DeMeo would dismember a body that he would take the clothes off. So we know what Nicholas was wearing that night, because Nicholas's 16-year-old daughter Fran would dress him, would pull out all his clothing, put it on the bed. So we know, number one, that Nicholas Masucci had a glass eye. So that's one thing that we're going to be looking for. The second thing is his shoes, unique. They were white patent leather shoes with a zipper on the inside of the shoe. Inseam, I guess you call it. So we we have the shoes. She also, I forget what clothing he was wearing. So I'm guessing if the body was dismembered, they would just roll up the clothes and get rid of that and
Yeah.
leave it in the.
Chances are the shoes are disintegrated by now.
You think?
Leather's organic. It's gonna be gone.
No, actually, it's
Um,
patent leather. Is patent leather leather? Or is it? Isn't? I think that's a synthetic. Uh,
yeah, it's still gonna be long gone in that water.
okay.
We may find zippers. We may find jewelry if there's any known jewelry. Watches. Um, anything that is gonna stand the test of time.
The glass eye will. I can tell you that.
The glass eye definitely will, because one thing we noticed on the other dive video was they were really interested in picking up all the soup bowls down there.
He picked up. He picked up a spark plug. He put. It was so funny. This guy, no, he had the dive suit had big pockets. So he comes up. He doesn't say, "Fuck, I got a bone and it's cut up. It's sort of." He doesn't say that. He goes, "I got a St. Christopher statue. Got a spark plug. I got a credit card." He had a credit card. Got a credit card from 2015. And he's bringing all the. Then he goes to me, "Oh, and I found a bone." It's like, that day blew my mind, especially when Nug, I said, Google, we had the steering wheel, and it just didn't ring a bell to me. The bottom part, I didn't realize, you only look at the top part of the dashboard on that car, and then on beneath it was the 5-pod lower dash, And I said, do me a favor, Google the 1972 Lincoln Town Car dashboard. And no, I'll never forget, he was at the back of the boat, and he goes, and he's looking at it. I had the steering wheel in my hand, and he goes, "Are you ready to get your mind blown?" And I go, What? And this is all on video, you can see it. And he shows me the steering wheel, and it was a euphoric moment for me that I'll never forget. As I believe this next one is going to be, what is this saying? Bone chilling, like when you watch a horror movie or something. I don't know. I take my hats off to you divers that go down in that murk and stuff. I could never do it. Like I said, that friggin' crab. One of the divers shined his light, and there was a crab staring right back at him. And then he just went like that, and the thing swung off. But yeah, that guy was something else. He blew my mind, all right. But I fully expect that same thing is going to happen this time. And not only that, Anthony, we never really talked about this too. I did a video right after the Lincoln video. That was 2 years ago. So for 2 years, this saga has been going on for me. Maybe 3 years, almost 3 years. 2 days after I put that Lincoln in the river, they asked me, Joey Bikini and Roy DeMeo, asked me to give another car. Here's another give up, they called it. I'll pay you this $500, take it to your spot and get rid of it. I knew right away that car was not a give up because it was a rental car. I could tell by the license plate, had a Z in it. All license plates in New York State back then that had a Z in it, that indicated that it was a rental car. So rental cars don't commit suicide fraud. So I refused. Anyway, to make a long story short, 2 days later, my boss, Joey Bikini, says, he gave me the money to do it. I said, you know what? I think I'll pass. I gave the money back to Roy. Joey said, give him back the money. Oh, fuck. I thought he was going to make me do it. So he says, you don't have to touch the car. You just show him where this place is, show him what to do. And that's all you got to do, and bring him back $500. And I did it. And he threw a 72 Lincoln. He said he threw a 72 Ford LTD in there. And I know where that car landed too. That was way before the bridge on the south side. So I don't know, after we do this, if you'd be interested in going diving over there, who knows? We do know one thing. This is one thing that I did get from the other dive team. They scanned it with their equipment. At the point of where I put the car in, which is now a designated landmark, where we put the car in, we scanned it and it showed nothing. Just like it showed nothing where the Lincoln was, except an anomaly that was 19 and a half feet long, which is how long a Lincoln is. But it didn't come out. I guess it has to be 3D to give an accurate reading. So the first day we went right over where it, didn't find it. Then we went further down, and I kept saying, just dive, but no, they scanned it. So just because they didn't find nothing at the entry point doesn't mean there's nothing there from 1974. Doesn't mean it. I don't know. That's something that we'll talk about, I guess, when we get there. Is there anything else that you'd like to hit on? That's the game plan. Anything else any concerns you have? I mean, how do you feel about what you saw, about the story, and then what you saw? Have you ever heard of such a story?
No, I honestly, and that's why I'm here, because I get paid to do what I do. You know, search and recovery divers, we get a good chunk of money.
Yeah,
So when I see something like this, and I say I'm coming to do this for free, it's pretty damn interesting. And what really, really hooked me, I'll tell you what, because I did my due diligence on research to check you out, check the story out, check the names out, and I'm like, man.
Right, wait a minute. You did due diligence on me. What'd you find out about me? Besides, I'm an asshole. Don't put that in there.
Well, it's not so much what it is. It's, does everything jive? Does the storyline change? Does it stay the same? And everything's still, it's spot on the money. Nothing changes. You know, you always got to remember a lie, and everybody always forgets something sooner or later. But the truth is always there. You don't got to remember it. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It just comes out. So I like that. And then I watched their 42-minute dive video, and it left me almost
speechless.
Almost, I won't say angry, but you're supposed to be search and recovery divers, and you're playing with plates, and you're scraping on tires. Go to the damn trunk and look around. That's what you're there for.
Well, there was one point where I'm not bashing those guys, but it is what it is. There was one point where I knew where they were. They were at the rear of the car on the driver's side. So they're flashing the flashlight. So the two doors fell off the car. Boom. And they were somewhat covered by the sand. And when they put their light on the floor of the river, you could see the glass. It just reflected right back. So, and there was two of them. So now I know where I am. I'm in the passenger compartment on the driver's side. And then he sees the steering wheel sticking halfway in the sand. What was that? Then the dashboard. And then he goes back. Oh, no, before he did that, he picked up what looked like a cardboard because it bent. And then I realized that was the quarter panel driver's side. Now, I know these two guys pretty good. They don't know their cars. They don't know, especially old cars. They don't know their cars. I knew exactly what it was. So he pulls the quarter panel, about 2.5, 3 feet of the quarter panel. He pulls it, it bends. So I'm thinking, when I see the video, I'm going, oh, stick the light right in there. That's the trunk. That's the trunk. Quarter panel, behind the quarter panel is the trunk. The trunk. But, in hindsight, you know better what to do. I mean, like you said, you've seen the video 4 times. You just follow the path when they went in from the shore, and that's it. I'm very excited.
For those white wall Thunderbolt tires, and I don't need you to guess exactly where we're going to right away.
Yeah. Very encouraging. I'm now, once we get it, I have to decide, do I go Well, I'm not going to call 911 like I did last time. I mean, either I'm going to do one or two things, depending on Fran. There's an open case with the FBI, missing persons case for Fran. The FBI investigated it. Either I go to the squad or the 114th. The squad is the detective bureau, and tell them I have to be careful what I say because there is no statute of limitations on murder. Murder after the fact is a B felony in New York, punishable by 25 years to life. No statute of limitation. So I am exposed. I just can't dream in my wildest dream. This is not Manhattan like an Alvin Brad. He'd probably lock me the fuck up. If this happened on the other side of that bridge, I would not do anything because that guy is out of his mind. But the DA in Queens, I believe her name is Katz. She dates Schlewood, the guard. Have you ever heard of the Guardian Angels? You know who he is?
Yep.
She's dating him, and Curtis is cool. I met Curtis twice, but then I'm gonna have to go to the police to get DNA. I mean, then they're gonna have to pull that car out of the water, Anthony. Once
Yep.
we go there and show them the video, now they got to take action. You know, another thing, when I met that stupid lieutenant, he didn't want to hear nothing. He didn't want to. We didn't have to. They didn't show him the video. The car in there, it's not supposed to be there. You got to take it out. Period. So, anyway, I'm very excited. Do you have anything to add, Anthony?
No, I just want to get in the water.
And then let's talk about your partner, and let's talk a little bit about him, the guy that's going to be diving with you. His name is?
So, his name is Keith Hutmeyer. He's actually my instructor for. I'm becoming a PADI open water dive instructor. It's a lengthy course, and you have to have a mentor. And he's been my mentor. Most divers, it's safest to dive in a buddy, as dive buddies, two guys. If somebody gets tangled, we could help each other out. You have a better chance of survival with a buddy. I do dive most of the time alone because not even Keith wants to go in the Hudson, but he's going to come here on this one. He's doing it for the cause. He's a really good guy.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you, my friend.
And he's intrigued as well, and he's hard to intrigue.
I know. I've been intrigued for 50. I've been intrigued for 50 years. That thing was haunting me. You know, I've been in prison, and when you're in prison, I was in 4 state. I was in like 10 prisons, 6 jails, 4 prisons. Met a lot of murderers in there, and I learned one thing about them. They all share one thing in common, and that is they are without conscience. They could kill you and eat a bologna sandwich 20 minutes later. And not. You're just an object. Just an object.
Yep.
I was raised a Catholic. I went to parochial school. I believe in our Lord Jesus Christ. And this haunted me for 50 years. And if I do say so myself, it took quite a bit of balls for me to snitch on myself. I got on the fucking phone. 911, come on, the cops showed up. What did you think? Anthony, you're a very low-key guy. What did you think of my interaction with that lieutenant?
I gotta tell you, you watch a video like that and you put yourself, would I put myself in that position? I can't say that I would. You know, I'd like to think that I could always be the bigger guy and have a set of cojones like that, but I don't think I could do what you did. Not knowing what the repercussions could be.
Oh, I knew what the repercussions were. I spoke to the DA. I spoke to the DA's office detective, and he told me, you're exposed. He flat out told me there was no statute. But I don't have the juice I once had. But it's something when you get to be my age. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. I'm 70 years old. I'm close. I'm living the last chapter of my life. I have a beautiful 15-year-old daughter. And especially when I found out who we believe is in there. And that was difficult talking to her. Imagine me talking to a woman whose father's remains I threw in the river for 50 years and didn't tell anybody about it.
I can't imagine her talking to you.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe when she actually sees me, she's just going to whack me and just, no, she was
Hey, if she throws you in the river, I'll come find you.
okay. Oh, shit. Is it pro bono? Because my daughter don't have much money.
Listen, I know a spot.
Unbelievable. So anyway, for all my viewers that kept bugging me, when are you going back? When are you going back? Dude, I'm 3,000 miles away. I'm 3,000 miles away. I'm in California. It's not like I got to get on a plane, which I hate flying. Yeah, the first flight that I tried to get, I couldn't get because it was like, well, I could have got it, but that means I would have been sat. All the window seats and all the aisle seats were gone. So I would have had to sit like this for 5.5 hours, and you knew I would have got two. So I went, no, and I got this other flight. So it's going to be in this month. We're not going to give up the date. We might do something live down there, depending on where everything takes us. If you're going to do the first dive at 4, I'm not going to be there until 9 a.m. I guess I'll miss that one. How do you dive in the dark? How do you go in there and it splits?
As soon as you put your head underneath that water, it's pitch black anyway. So it's
Does it make
all
a
the
difference?
same.
Does it make a difference whether it's day or night once you get down 17 feet?
Not with visibility like that, it doesn't.
No.
Dark is dark.
No. I'm afraid of the dark. If you guys come to my house, the first thing you're going to notice is I have those night lights on every single socket in my house because I'm afraid of the dark.
So our
I'm
first
afraid of the dark.
our first dive is going to be locate and video only.
Yes.
So we're going to locate the car. We're going to video as much as we can. We both have cameras. We're not going to disturb anything unless we see something right on the surface, and it will all be on video. When you get there, and if we have nothing to present you that was clearly on video, then we'll start plan B, exhuming material and sifting. But we're not going to sift without multiple people there to witness it on the surface.
Yeah, I'll be on the surface filming.
Yep. So we want people there
you guys as you go in, and then you'll be filming underwater, and then you'll give me that video and I'll put it together. Man, you know what, Anthony? You have time. This might be a good idea. In fact, I know it would be a good idea. If you started your own YouTube channel and started it off with this, you're always underwater training guys anyway. You can make a YouTube channel out of that alone. So I'm going to advise you, as a friend, that I would start a YouTube channel. It's not that hard. I mean,
I'll take into consideration, but I'm just so soft spoken. No one's going to hear me anyway.
No, I mean, you're soft spoken guys. I mean, you gotta just get close to the mic. If I were to mic you, you could be soft spoken, no problem. Well, so let me ask you. I've always wondered about you soft spoken guys. I think there's a song, soft spoken guy. I think there's a song about that. How do you react when you really get pissed off? Do you yell in a soft monotone tone? Because when I get pissed off, it's just ask my daughter. She'll tell you.
Well,
What do you do when you're pissed off?
The last thing I do is yell. If it goes beyond words, then it goes beyond words.
No, I'm talking about in relationships. Okay, you got a girlfriend, you're married, and
I don't yell.
You know what I used to do? I can tell you what I used to do towards the end, not when I was younger. I just turn around and walk out. That's what I do. I turn around, walk out. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Of course, we all know at the time of this shooting, what's today's date? The 14th? It's
the 14th.
July 14th. July 13th, our beloved president, Donald Trump, President Trump, was shot in his ear. I did a video about, I also was almost shot in my ear. And I did a video about what that's like to have a bullet go past your ear. The man is amazing. I just, you know what, my heart just goes out to his family, especially his 18-year-old son that sees his father, the blood that came out of his face and what happened. Can you imagine if he was watching that, his family, all his children are grown, so they know the rest. But my heart went out to the young son. I just want to ask everyone to pray for especially for his family. He's strong. He don't give a fuck. He's a warrior. Would you agree with me, Anthony? He is
100%.
balls of steel to put his fist up and say, fight. He's fighting for us. He don't need the money. He doesn't need the power. He doesn't need nothing. He's fighting for us, the country, and all its people. That's what he's fighting for. And you know, the thing that really pisses me off, these Democrats, these crazy Democrats, they hate him. They even they tried to kill him. They tried to shoot him. That kid.
How old is Trump now? How old is he? How old is Trump?
Trump is 78. He's 8 years old.
78 years old. He's giving the last of his good golden years to the American people.
To be shot at, to be dragged into court. They're trying to put him in jail. They're trying to bankrupt him, take all his money. Are you fucking kidding me? For what? And as I said before, the thing that really irks me is he will be the next 47th president. So all you Democrats, get used to it. You can't stop him. He's unstoppable. He's a force. He's going to be your next president. So now that might sound like a threat to Democrats still there. But you know what? To all you Democrats, when he does become president, he's going to be president for everyone. And you idiots are going to benefit from lower taxes, lower gas price. You could go to the store and feed a family of 4. I mean, that's what really bugs me. All these people that hate him and call him a Hitler, and all of these people are going to benefit when he becomes president. You agree?
100%.
I mean, they're going to benefit, you idiots, just like you benefited 4 years ago. Anyway, here it is. Here it is. And to all my Republican viewers, don't take it for granted that he's going to win and not vote. You got to get out there and vote. Don't make what this guy, look what he's doing for us. Look, he's risking his life. You know, I'd rather be on a battlefield. I'm a Marine, ex-Marine. I would rather be in the jungles of Vietnam, knowing where my enemy is, armed, going in there, than putting myself on stage with a bullseye on me. Because that's what he does. That's what he did. I'll never forget the blood coming from his face.
Yeah. It's more dangerous for that man to stand up in front of his own people and his own country than it was for him to walk through North Korea unguarded with Kim Jong-un.
Need I say more? And to all you Democrats again, when he gets in, I wish I could say, oh, when he gets in, he's going to screw you, but he's not. All you haters out there will all benefit from a better life under the Trump administration. Get used to it. And look and think about what happened yesterday. Is that something that you want to be part of? Anthony, I would never in a million years would admit to being a Democrat especially after what happened yesterday.
Well,
that's like saying I'm in the KKK. That's like being proud of being in the KKK. How can you people vote for Sleepy Joe, that idiot, that criminal? I'm totally lost for words. It makes no sense to me.
It's just the times we live in. Because Democrat or Republican, I couldn't back any party that does not look unfavorable at a situation where a family man, a father, a husband was just shot in the side of his head while just trying to speak to the American people. Not hate speech, not threats, not nothing. Just how much he loves his country and what he wants to do for
Let's
us.
talk about the shooter too. You know, when you have a gun and you take your gun out and you have to use it, pull the trigger, you have to use it, or you want to use it. Maybe somebody raped your daughter and you want to fucking shoot it. You have to look at your backstop. That little Gen Z prick took aim at President Trump when the backstop was shoulder to shoulder, human beings, children, babies, and he didn't give a fuck. He shot his gun 3 or 4 times, pow, pow, killing one guy in the head, blowing his brains out in front of his wife and I think his 3-year-old kid. Are you kidding me? Democrats, is that what you want to be part of? Is that what you want? When you vote for Joe Biden, that's who you are. You're every bit as responsible for what that little Gen Z fool did as he is. I'll say no more. Here you go right here. That's what we all have to do. We all have to vote. Don't think that it's in the bag. You got to fight this guy. You got to fight these Democrats. They're a bunch of cheating, stealing. Anyway, I'll give you the last word, Anthony. Thank you for letting me ramble on about this.
No, not at all. My last words will be get to the polls, vote.
I'll see you. Thank you, Anthony. And I'll see you guys on the next one.